guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video. I hope you're all doing really well. In today's video we're going to be talking about my 2023 financial goals. And I know that this is like a bit of a taboo subject sometimes, but I really like talking about finances and money and savings and long-term goals as well as short-term goals, and trying to help people if possible. Not that I'm any expert by any means, but I'm just a normal person that's trying to make the best of a situation. So I have done these videos every single year since I've been on YouTube. So I think there's probably 2 or 3 videos already on my channel of me going through my entire budget for the year, and I actually have a spreadsheet that I sell over on Etsy, and I've renewed it for 2023. So if you are looking to do your own budgeting spreadsheet that's already created for you and it's nice and easy and set up, then that is over there on Etsy. It's the spreadsheet that I'm going to be using today. So if you like what you see, how I'm using it, then definitely go and check it out on Etsy, and I'll link it down below. It's slightly different to the one that I used last year, so if you prefer last year's spreadsheet, then definitely buy the 2022 version, and you can just change the date at the top to say 2023. That's the only difference. But in today's video I'm going to be using a slightly different spreadsheet so you can see exactly what my finances are looking like this year. Quite different because I've got a few things coming up, so I thought I would go through what my financial goals are, long and short-term goals, just to give you like a bit of background like for what my goals might be and like what my budget's going to be, and then we'll get into the spreadsheet. Okay, so my short-term goals, my 3 short-term goals for 2023, so something that I want to achieve this year, they're split into 3 categories. So I've got baby number 2, I've got kitchen, and I've got loan repayment. So they're the 3 goals I have. So the first one is baby number 2. I'm currently expecting baby number 2 and they are due in June. So before June I am aiming to save £500 for baby number 2 related stuff. Obviously I already had loads of stuff for my firstborn. I have sold some of that stuff, or I've like lent it to people or whatever, but we're looking to probably spend definitely no more than £500 on baby number 2. So I'm looking to save that before they are due in June. The other goal, like related to baby number 2, is to maintain my maternity leave pot, which is like 6 months worth of wages for me, which I've already saved. I've already got that in the bag. That was like my 2022 goal, and I managed to achieve that. But in 2023 I want to maintain it, so I want to not dip into it, and if I do have to dip into it, then replenish it and make sure that I've always got that 6 months wages like put away there. And then that is for me to hopefully not have to, but if I do have to use it during maternity leave, then that is there for me to fall back on. So I've got a bit of security basically, so it means I can hopefully take at least a year off of work. So savings goal number 2 is for the kitchen. So we are planning to redo our kitchen and like basically knock down the wall between the the dining room and the kitchen, and then put up a wall where the living room is. I'll do this like a proper like house updates, like plans, etc. In another video probably because it's not related. But the kitchen, that's obviously going to cost some money. So what I'm hoping to do is save £1,500 towards upfront kitchen costs. And then also I want to start paying off the interest-free finance that we're getting for the kitchen. So we're getting our kitchen basically done through B&Q, and they offer interest-free finance, and they actually have a sale on at the moment where basically they've got 25% off all kitchen stuff, which worked out pretty well for us in terms of like, yeah, it just worked out really well. It was the cheapest option that we could find on the market, and we've got interest-free finance for them, which means we've borrowed X amount, I think it's 5,700, and we're going to pay that off month by month with absolutely no interest over 3 years, which is really incredible that it's interest-free. You're not paying back anything more than you've already borrowed. So that's what we're doing with the kitchen. But yeah, start to repay those repayments, as well as paying any upfront costs, because there were some things that we didn't want to get from B&Q, we wanted to get elsewhere, but obviously we'll have to pay for those upfront. I would like to save £1,500 towards those upfront costs. It probably doesn't even have to be that big, but that's the goal that I've set myself for this year. And then my third short-term financial goal is my loan repayment. So late last year, I actually got out a loan from the bank to purchase my new car, which is my Nissan Qashqai, which is literally like my fave mum car ever. It was affordable for what it is, the size it is, and all that stuff. I got rid of my Mini and I sold that, and then I purchased the Nissan Qashqai. So basically I've repaid a lot of that loan already. It was a £10,000 loan, but with the selling of my Mini and some money that I've been able to contribute already, I've only got 1,800 outstanding on that loan, on that debt. So I'd like to repay that, ideally, by the time I go on maternity leave. That might not be possible and it isn't necessary, but the repayments on that loan are very similar to the repayments on the kitchen, and it would be nice if they would like coincide. So by the time I finish my loan repayment, I can then start paying for the kitchen, and then like I'm not out of pocket any single month because they're the same in terms of the repayment. Baby number 2, kitchen, and my loan repayment, they're my short-term savings goals for 2023. My long-term financial goals are way more ambitious and not something that I'm totally focusing on for 2023, but they're definitely things I'm going to start contributing towards so that in the long run I can achieve these goals. And the first one is property investment. So that is something that I want to try and do through my business account and keep that very much like business related, not like me personally doing it, but like the business can sort of start contributing towards a pot to potentially invest into a property at some point in the future. I've set myself a very ambitious goal of buying an investment property by 2027. So essentially, like say it was the beginning of 2027, that would give me 3 years to save, 3 full years to save, and then in 2027 like to buy. The point in that, I guess, is I know that by investing my money is going to start working for me rather than just sat there and actually depreciating in a savings account, or worse, in just a bank account where interest rates are going up so much higher, you're actually losing money. Like that money is not worth as much as it was a year ago or 2 years ago. So my aim is in the business account to save money towards a deposit. So it would be like a rent to buy, not a property for us to live in, but to rent out at some point. We've already been landlords previously, and that was because we lived in military accommodation and we like rented out the house that we owned. We like rented that out privately whilst we were living in army accommodation, and it was just great to have an income, like a passive income from, it was just great. It just worked so well. And obviously property generally, I know that like the market's a bit crazy and stuff like that at the moment, but generally property tends to go up. It would just be a great thing if we could invest in a property. And my partner, my husband, is really handy and great and like would love to do all the hands-on like maintenance and management of a property. And I'm really lucky enough that I've got YouTube and things like that where I make an income like that's surplus to my own income. So yeah, I would love to invest into property at some point, and I've set myself the goal of 2027. So I've set myself the goal to save £1,000 a month for the next 3 years, which is a big goal, I know, and that's like through my business, not like the money that you'll see on this spreadsheet. That's not included, but that's like a business plan. That was my first long-term financial goal. My second long-term financial goal is a personal one, and that's to pay the mortgage off early. My exact goal is to cut the mortgage repayment time on our mortgage by 10 years, which would mean paying off our mortgage by 2043. So our current mortgage is a 30-year mortgage. We got, well, I think it's like 29 years and a bit, but say it's a 30-year mortgage. We would like to cut that by 10 years, meaning that we pay it off by 2043 in 20 years time. That would mean that I would be 45 and mortgage free, ideally. Obviously that kind of implies that you're not gonna buy another house at a bigger rate and borrow more. You never know what's going to happen, but digging away at this mortgage is definitely something that we want to do. And if you look at mortgage repayment calculators and like early repayment calculators, you can see how much money you save in interest just by repaying like £100 a month extra. So that's what we plan to do. That's what we already started last year repaying £60 a month off in total, and this year, so from January, we've increased that to both pay £50 a month off each, which means it's £100 a month in total, meaning that that's £2,400 a year. So that's my 2023 goal. And then in 2024, and the reason that I want it to be in 2024 is because we get our tax-free childcare for George in 2024, so we have a lot more surplus income. Then we want to raise the contributions in 2024 to £150 a month each, so £300 a month in total, which will be £3,600 a year extra, and that would get us to shave 10 years off our mortgage, saving us thousands, tens of thousands of pounds in interest. If you're interested, I'll link down below the early repayment calculator that I used. It's on Money Supermarket, I think, and it's so good to just give you that perspective as to how much money you're actually making for these banks in comparison to how much you could save. And it's not a terrible amount of money that you're going to be losing. Say you just count that oh, my mortgage has gone up by £100 a month and you just have to pay £50 extra a month each, or however you split the bills, and that's just what you think is your new mortgage amount, your new mortgage repayment. That mindset has then just saved you easily tens of thousands of pounds in the long run. I think it's worth looking at if you're in a position to do it. Obviously, I know with interest rates and stuff, mortgages are a bit up and down at the moment. We have definitely got to reconsider what will happen when our mortgage rate goes up, if it does, when it's up in, I think, September this year. But we've accounted for that somewhat, and if we are going on what we think is worst case scenario, our mortgage rate going up to 4%, which is quite high even at the moment. Even with 4%, we can still afford to do our plan. So those are what my financial goals are for 2023 and I guess beyond. But yeah, those 5 goals are the 5 things that I'm mainly focusing on this year. The 3 short-term goals and then the 2 longer-term goals. Okay, so now going back onto the spreadsheet that we all know and love. If you haven't seen this before, then this is my 2023 budget spreadsheet. I've separated everything into budget essentials and then budget savings. And the reason I've done that is because I've got a lot of things that I like to save for, and the method that I use is I do my essentials, my actual outgoings to survive, and then whatever I've got surplus, I then put into savings, and those things include saving for Christmas, saving for birthdays, holidays, car insurance, car maintenance, and those kind of things, the things that I definitely have to pay out for anyway, so I might as well save towards them rather than there being this big crazy month at the end of December, for example, where I'm rushing around trying to find the money to pay for things. If I pay for it every single month a little bit in dribs and drabs, then at the end of the year it's not too much faff. Same with car insurance, car maintenance when your MOT comes around. And then there are some nice to haves that definitely aren't needed, and if one month I am I'd want to pay £100 more towards the kitchen and then not get things like hair, nails, lashes, clothes, fine, they're absolutely a non-essential for me. But yeah, that is how I've split everything. Okay, I'm going to put myself here and then try and pop everything up on the side, and then I'm just going to go through my spreadsheet as we are talking. First things first, I want to pop in what my salary is from my corporate job that I have. So I am going to put in £2,000 because after tax, that is what comes into my bank account every single month. That is not going to change for the whole of 2023. So I actually go on maternity leave from June, but then after June, I actually get 6 months fully paid salary, which is I cannot say how lucky I am. I know that I'm so lucky to be able to get that. That's the reason that I have the job that I have, to be honest, is because it's so good with maternity leave. So I know that for July, August, September, October, November and December, I'm gonna get full pay, which is just incredible. However, in 2024, I will go down to statutory maternity pay, which is obviously very different. But like I said, I've already got my maternity pot of money, which is 6 months of full wages that I've put aside already. What I normally do is pay all of my bills from my money that comes from my job, and then I pay savings and nice to have things out of my like side hustle stuff. So let's go on to expenses. So first things first, my mortgage. My mortgage is £490.18 each per month. Also, I should say how we split our living expenses, so the living costs for the joint account, the section that I'm on at the moment. This whole bit, me and my partner actually split this 50-50, so every single thing that you see is like the bill halved, if that makes sense. In terms of the overpayments, we put in £50 each extra in terms of overpayments, so £100 in total, like I said. So food, I'm going to put at 200 because we put in 200 each a month, which is £100 a week essentially for food shopping. Our water bill is £31. Our gas and electric at the moment is about £92. That might go up, but we'll play that by ear. Our home insurance is £10. Our life insurance is like joint life insurance, which is £14. Our internet is £10 because it's really rubbish internet, but when, I think it's this year actually, they're going to install like fibre, like proper internet, that will probably go up, but at least my internet will be better, so it'll be worth paying for. TV licence, we actually don't use the TV licence because we don't watch live TV, so like I haven't got anything in there, but obviously if you do watch live TV, you need to pay your TV licence. Council tax, on council tax is £91 each, again, double that for the actual amount. Our childcare bill, the amount that we put into the tax-free childcare account is £396 each, and then the government basically topped that up by 20%. The reason that we're eligible for that, which is tax-free childcare, is because we both work and earn over a certain amount. That's what tax-free childcare is. There are loads of different schemes out there, and I actually have videos on those as well if you're looking to look into childcare or like what you're eligible for and all that kind of stuff. But that is what we do. We also have a subscription to Office 365, which is £4 each, and then we have a subscription to Spotify, which is £7 each. Both of those we use all the time, and I'm pretty confident that all of these, I mean maybe not all of them, like the mortgage, again like I said, we actually have a new rate in September, so maybe I'll leave that up until September. The mortgage repayments, I'm going to try and keep that at £50 each. Again, with everything else, I'm going to try and do that throughout the year. If bills go up, like they are, you know, likely to, like in terms of gas and electric and things like that, when things do rise, I will come back into this spreadsheet and I will just change those. But for now, I don't know what those increases are going to be, so I'm just going to put them across the entire year. The one thing that I actually do know is going to decrease is George's childcare bill. So from August or September, we're not exactly sure when, but we want to reduce Georgie's hours in childcare because I'll be off work. There's no need for him to go in for for 4 full days a week. So we're going to reduce his childcare hours, and therefore his bill will definitely drop. By how much, we're not entirely sure. Now I'm going to put in £200 a month because that's the maximum that I would be looking to pay, like half of the amount that I would be looking to pay, so £400 in total for a monthly childcare bill. Obviously, again, with the tax-free childcare, that actually adds up to a little bit more than that, but I think we can possibly reduce our bill by £196 a month just by cutting down his hours. So I'm going to put that in for now. Then hopefully in September to December, like this year, we can see exactly how much the childcare bill will be reduced. Again, when I find these things out, I will come back, update this. And if you guys are looking for like a regular update of this spreadsheet, then I'd be more than happy to do that, maybe every quarter or something, but let me know. So you can see at the bottom here, this spreadsheet has calculated exactly how much I need to contribute towards the joint account, because that's how we split our finances. And it says that it's going to be £1,395.18 that I contribute towards the joint accounts, which are all of our joint bills paid for. So that is how much I am going to like set my direct debit up, or my standing order, whatever it's called, into the joint account. So that just goes in every single month, and then the bills can be paid, and that's fine. So then I'm going to move down to my travel and insurance costs and things like that. So these are costs that come out of my personal bank account, but they come out every single month, or they're things I have to pay for every single month to do with travel. Luckily, my car insurance is going to be 0 for this entire year, because at the end of last year, in December, I decided to pay it off outright because I'd saved up last year to be able to pay it out outright. I don't have that monthly bill like coming in and out, so I don't pay it monthly anymore. I paid it yearly, which is really, really cool. But you'll see in the next spreadsheet that I move over to in a minute, I actually am going to still be contributing towards a pot for car insurance so that I can do the same next year. But that's not something that comes out of this money, if that makes sense. I'll explain in a little bit. But my car insurance is going to remain at 0, which is amazing. Petrol, I'm going to put at £100 a month. Roughly that is how much I use. And then my AA breakdown cover is £10 a month, so I'm going to pop that in there. It's definitely worth having, especially after my experience last year when I had a big breakdown and it was just an absolute nightmare. I was so glad that I had my AA breakdown cover. And then I'm going to put here my commute, which is a 1 day a week. So 1 day a week I go into London and I have to drive there, park at the station, pay for parking, get the train in, and then get the tube in. All in all, it costs me about £50 a day, and if there are 4 weeks in a month, then it will cost me about £200. So £200 is how much that 1 day a week commute will cost me. Again, I am only going to be in work until July, so I'm going to put that in £200 a month until then. So that's great. Obviously after that it won't be anything. I don't know if I'll be in. I definitely won't be in for the whole month. I definitely won't be in for July. I definitely won't be in for the whole month of June, but I'm going to put it in there, just worst case scenario, I guess. And then car loan repayments is £80.50 a month. So that is how much my car repayment loan is. They're my minimum repayments. Again, in the next spreadsheet you'll see that I also am planning to repay more than that, but it comes out of a separate pot, and I will explain that in a second. So at the bottom you can see here that my total monthly income was £2,000. My monthly expenses, including all of the things that we just added up, was £1,785, which leaves me with a remaining £214 to play with, essentially. So that is what I'm focusing definitely on the first half of the year, because things are definitely going to change throughout the second half of the year, where I go on maternity leave and George stops going to childcare as much, etc. But for now, we'll just focus on the first part of the year. So I've got about £200 left over. Whether you then decide that that's what you want to spend, you've got £200 just to spend on like whatever you might want. I tend to do it slightly differently, just because if you come over here, you'll see I like to split things out in this way because it helps me feel like I'm a little bit more in control. So I've got my 2023 budget, but this is for savings this time. So here is where I put in all of the money that I make from YouTube, that I pay myself from the business account, which is £1,000 a month I give myself, which is incredible that I've got the opportunity to do that. My leftover income, which you can see over here, is I'm just going to put £200. So I'm going to put my £200 in here. I'll also put in the tax that I have to pay on the side hustle money, so my money like I make from YouTube and stuff, which is 20%, so I'm going to put in minus 200. So technically I've got £1,000 to play with, because I've got my leftover money and then I've got my tax, which is the same amount. So I'm left over with £1,000. What I'm going to do now is go through all of my savings, the priorities that we spoke about at the beginning of the video, as well as nice to haves and how I like to do all of those things. And I'll also talk about how I like to, I'll show you the app that I use to divide all this stuff up, because it's honestly one of the best things that I use, and it really genuinely helps me maintain control of my finances. Okay, so first things first, we've got baby number 2. And like I said, I would like to save £500 for baby number 2 before they are born, and they are born in June. So I'm going to put £100 a month for the next 5 months. So if we just scroll up so I can see the months, then I'm going to put them until May. So that's by the end of May, I should have £500 or have saved £500 towards baby stuff. Obviously, if I buy things throughout the like beginning of the year, then that will obviously dwindle, but that will be for baby number 2 stuff. I'll do a video if you guys are interested. I don't know where my phone is. I'll do a video if you guys are interested about all the things I want to buy for baby number 2 versus all the things that we're going to keep from when I had George, my first son. Most of it is going to be like car seats and maybe like a toddler, I don't know what they're called, buggy board, things like that. I don't think I'm going to save any more money for when they're here. We might just have to increase potentially our food bill, our shopping bill, because I should have said also our shopping bill includes everything like toiletries, nappies, formula, all those kind of things. So our food bill might have to go up, but again, I'll have to revisit that in a few months' time. I can only like focus on the beginning of the year right now because so much is going to change halfway through the year. And then I'm going to move on to my loan repayment. This is the loan that I got out from the bank. I have already incorporated my loan repayment here, which is the £80.50. That's the minimum repayment that I have to have to pay. This repayment is additionally. So additionally to the £80.50, I'd like to put towards this from my YouTube money essentially. So if I pop in here £360 a month, which is how much I've saved in January, and I will plan to do this for February, March, April and May, I would ideally like to do that every single month. That actually equals up to 1,800, which is the outstanding amount that I had on my loan. So if I do that every single month from my YouTube money, I will have paid off my loan by the time the baby's born, which will be ideal. And that would also mean that my loan repayments for the car will stop from also May or June. Then down here we've got the kitchen slash house pot, and again I remember saying to you at the beginning of the video what my short-term and long-term financial goals were. This was one of my short-term goals. I would like to be able to save £300 per month towards the kitchen. Again, if I do that, then this £300 every single month will add up to 1,500, which was my goal to save towards the kitchen for upfront costs. So that's things like flooring, and there are like a few things like a dining table and new dining chairs that we'd like, because one, we've broken one of ours, and two, they're cream and they're fabric, which was the worst decision ever when we've got kids. Next up, we've got car maintenance. I haven't got loads of money to put towards this pot because you can see I'm trying to achieve these other goals, which are like my main focuses, but I'm still going to be putting like £30 a month into these pots because I think it's important to like have those emergency funds or sinking funds for when things happen. So for example, if you have your MOT, technically it only costs 50 quid to get MOT, but what if something goes wrong on your MOT and you have to pay out for something? I'd really like to have some sort of backup in a pot, and I already have some money in a pot already, but £30 additionally contributing towards that is always a good thing. And then, like I said earlier, my car insurance, I actually have paid that off for the entire year, but when it comes to December this year, sorry, I'm going to have to pay upfront as well, or at least I'd like to try. So I'm going to put £30 a month again into my car insurance pot. If you do £30 across 12 months, that's £360, so that's a really good amount of money to have in a pot ready to pay off insurance at the end of the year if you want to do it that way. It's so worth putting money aside in a pot like this so that you don't have the big payout at the end of the year, or you don't have to have interest or get things on finance. That's just my mentality, it always has been. Same thing for holidays. So we actually have a holiday booked for April to go to Wales, which we're really excited about. That is paid for, which is something that I've already like put into a pot and everything, so that's sorted. So I'm not going to save for a holiday until probably starting June, because we probably won't go on holiday when we've got a newborn, and we don't have anything planned or booked. But again, it'd be nice to be able to put some money towards a pot. So I'm going to put £100 from June onwards, because you can see that that's when everything else sort of finishes, my other contributions towards the other pots. So I'm going to start putting £100 a month into a pot for holiday in 2023 at some point, hopefully, whether that's probably in the UK. Like, we've never been abroad with George or anything. I don't really see the big point in doing that just yet, unless we have this amazing opportunity to go somewhere I just think we're going to probably holiday in the UK for the first few years of having young kids. But obviously if you want to do travel abroad and you can afford to do so, then have at it, go for it. But yeah, it's just not something that I'm really like keen to do massively. Then moving down to my ISA, I'm not going to put any money into my ISA for the first part of this year for obvious reasons. Again, I've got lots of other expenses going out. My ISA though is something that is really important to me. It's an individual savings account. You don't get any tax on it, so if you get any interest back, you don't get taxed on it, which is really, really good, and it's really great. I like doing stocks and shares ISAs, for example, because you have a very good chance if you're investing long term that you're going to make your money back and some and make a good amount of interest on that. There's a little bit of risk that goes with it, but I think it's tolerable for the likelihood that you're going to get your money back and make money on that money, if that makes sense. I have about £2,000 currently in my ISA, which is just sat there and it's just making money. Currently it's sat at about 4%, which is way more than I'd be getting if it was just in a savings account. So I've made money back on that money, if that makes sense. So I think it's like I've made about £180 or £200 interest on the £2,000 I put in. So it's actually probably more than 4%. It's really, really great, but it's a long term, for me it's like a long term investment. That's just a pot that's sat there and I'm going to just carry on putting money into it as I can. And when things like the house and the loan repayment and the kitchen and everything is sorted, I'm going to start contributing towards that pot again. So when that has sorted, I'm going to hopefully be able to put in £200 a month from July onwards. But we will see. Again, I will revisit this halfway through the year for sure. And then we come down to Christmas and birthdays. Like I said, I like to contribute towards this pot of money when I can. And last year what I did is put in £100 a month every single month for Christmas, and then at the end of the year I had £1,200 in my Christmas fund, and it was amazing because I could just like have the best Christmas ever and not have to worry about it. I actually still have money in that Christmas account, so this year I'm going to keep that money in the Christmas account that I didn't spend for last Christmas, and then only put in £50 a month for a little while, probably again up until May time, and then after that put in £100 a month all the way up until December. And if I just add all of this up, that's going to be £950, which I think is still an incredible amount for a Christmas. And then for birthdays, I'm going to put about £30 a month, because always birthdays come up, don't they? And you don't want it to be like that big expense that it has to be on a specific month, like especially if you have multiple birthdays in a month that you've got to buy for. So I'm going to put £30 a month in. Again, that's £360 in total for an entire year. And then I'm going to go down to my nice to haves, which includes skincare. I'm going to put £10 for my skincare a month, because I have Skin and Me, which is £3.50, and then I also get like a moisturiser and some cleanser, but they're really cheap and affordable ones, so £10 a month is more than enough. I actually get them on Subscribe and Save on Amazon, which is a really, really good tip. If you're going to get them every single month and you know you're going to get them every single month, it's cheaper to do it Subscribe and Save. You save the money, you save like 5 or 10% depending on the deal, and they just send it out to you every month and you never run out. So I just think that's a great one. Eating out and takeaways, I'm going to put £20, because that includes anything like a coffee out or a McDonald's or an actual takeaway or whatever it might be. So I'm going to put £20 a month, and I don't think that's too much. But we could definitely not do it if we didn't want to. So yeah, that's £20 a month there. Clothing, I'm going to put £10 for maternity stuff, and I'm tempted to do a lot of that on Vinted. I guess I'll put that across the entire year, but so if I go like 2 months without buying something, and then on the third month I can get something that's worth £30, does that make sense? So again, I like Vinted quite a lot, especially for maternity stuff or things that I know that I'm not going to be wearing loads and loads and loads after pregnancy. That's a really good shout, so I'm going to look for stuff on Vinted. I haven't really bought much. I've bought one bundle of maternity jeans so far. Days out, which I'm going to put at £20, and again, that can be for literally anything, but for us, days out are generally cheap and cheerful. We tend to do like a lot of National Trust stuff, or like really, really nice and easy days out with George. like soft play, like going to a farm park, those kind of things. Things that aren't a lot of pressure for him, like if he doesn't enjoy himself, we can just leave, it's fine. For hair, I'm going to put 20 as well, because I haven't had my hair done, but I haven't had my hair done in a while, since October? No, maybe it was September actually. I can't remember. And I don't have any appointments or anything to get my hair done, but when I do get my hair done, I will probably, yeah, I'll probably get, like, it's probably going to be like £100 worth, and I haven't got any money in that pot at the moment, so I'll save up for the next few months and then get some hair stuff done. I do like a little day at the salon, it is a really nice treat, isn't it? And then I'm actually going to leave nails and brows and lashes. I'm going to leave those for now, I think. Yeah, actually no, for lashes, pardon me, I'm going to put £10 in there a month, because this isn't for actual lash extensions that I used to get. It used to cost me a lot more money, but actually for lashes I use these, like, they're adhesive lashes that you put on. They're like nice little clusters. They're so straightforward. I'm not good at putting on fake lashes, guys, and these ones are really, really good. They're really, really affordable, so I would highly recommend them. I use them all the time. They're called Amore Lashes. If anyone is interested, I'll link them down below. I've mentioned them loads and loads. They're loads on my Instagram as well. If you go into my highlights on Instagram, they're on there. So that is my 2023 budget complete. I think I tried to whiz through that because I don't want this video to be so incredibly long, but if you have any questions, please let me know, and if something doesn't make sense or whatever, if I've glossed over something, I'm sure I'll be able to clarify in the comments, but I just wanted to make sure that this video wasn't like 3 hours long. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed that, and if you are looking to buy this spreadsheet, so the 2023 budget essentials and then the budget savings, it's on one sheet. You can purchase this on Etsy, and I'll pop the link and everything down below. It's on my Etsy storefront and it has saved my life. I love this spreadsheet more than life itself. It makes me feel organised. It's something that you definitely have to keep going back into if you want to like stay on top of things, but I would say the key for me are direct debits and standing orders to different accounts, as well as using an app called Hyperjar. So Hyperjar is something I've spoken about before. I love it. It is this app here. If I just open it, it is my absolute best friend, and it basically enables you to set, it's like a bank account like any other. You can transfer money into it. So what I do is when my money comes into my bank, I then transfer my money into my Hyperjar account, which is just a separate bank account. Open this app up. I'm trying to show you without the ring light. Open this app up and you've got all of these different jars. What I might do is do a little screenshot, little screen record on the side here so you can see it a little bit better. This is my Hyperjar account. These are my jars. So what I've got here, you can see I've got my wallet, I've got birthdays, car insurance, car maintenance, Christmas, days out, George's clothes, hair, nails, lashes, holiday 2023, house, kitchen, and then petrol. I don't use all of these exactly how it's laid out here. Like for example, Christmas, I have money in a different account in my like Santander account that is made for Christmas, so I need to transfer that money back over. I haven't like set this up properly for this video. Like some money is elsewhere. I don't keep all of my money in my Hyperjar account at all times. Do have a Hyperjar card. You can set it up on Apple Pay. I just haven't got around to doing it yet. So that is like the one thing that I would say is if you want to use your Hyperjar account to like actually spend money, then I would say like put it on your Apple Pay. I just haven't done it yet. Like as soon as I do that, it would be so much easier. But yeah, so you've got all your different jars and you can pop your money into all the jars, separate them exactly how I did on my spreadsheet, but I just do that like every single month. The money goes directly into my Hyperjar account, and then it goes into my wallet, and you can see here that I can like change, like basically from my wallet I've added £200 for example, and then like put different amounts of money into different like jars, if that makes sense. Hyperjar is a great thing. It's completely free. They do kids cards and everything. Like I think it's a great tool, and for me it's how I manage my money effectively every single month. So yeah, that was my 2023 financial goals video, I guess, with my budgeting spreadsheet, my actual like short-term and long-term financial goals, my Hyperjar app, those are like my key things. I try and set myself goals, realistic goals that I'm actually going to be able to achieve, set it all out on a spreadsheet that's going to help me maintain that and check that probably every month or every couple of months, and then also use this app to help me, again, maintain that. I'm a visual person, I like to see all these different colours and all the different jars and all of that stuff. But yeah, those are my 2023 financial goals, and that is my 2023 budget spreadsheet. If you want that, it's down in the description box in Etsy. I hope you really enjoyed this video, and let me know if you had any comments or questions or anything like that. I'd be more than happy to answer them. But for now, guys, I'm going to love you and leave you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!